What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be starting episode 14 of the beginner series, and this is going to be our first attempt at any form of guild PvP. So today, what we are going to be focusing on is the World Guild Battle. Now, you might be wondering, when should you start doing this? When should you be attempting to, get some points from the World Guild Battle? What I do recommend people do is get a decent amount of runes first. You're more than welcome to go in and try to see if there's any defenses you can clear early on for some easy points. However, I wouldn't really focus on this until you do get a decent amount of runes so that you can actually start building teams to get your easy clears. For this account in particular, we're actually going to be starting this around about day 33-ish. I think we're on day 33, 34. And this is probably about the same time span where you should start moving on to focusing on content like this, just so you can start getting the rewards. Early on, when you don't have a lot of monsters built, feel free to buy the 1 per week Rainbow Mon. However, once you get a little bit later on into the game, I actually skip buying this on accounts probably once you have maybe 46 stars, but feel free. It's only 150 per week, so you can continuously buy this. I'm just not super interested in building, hundreds and thousands of monsters in this game. I just want to build the ones that are, meta relevant or useful. If you are someone that's more interested in, filling out the Pokedex and 6-starring everything, then you'd probably buy this every week, as it is quite efficient. Moving on to the next thing that you should be purchasing, the Ifrit summoning pieces are definitely priority. You are going to want to keep buying these for probably a year or two. So I actually do recommend just continuously buying these and using these as skill ups for your already existing Ifrits. I don't think you should Devilmon the Ifrits and just keep doing this over time. And then after that, you're pretty much going to be moving on to the mystical scrolls. You probably won't have any more guild points outside of what you can purchase for those 3 things every week. Very super late game, a lot of people will then swap over to the LD scrolls pieces that you can find here. And that is pretty much the extent of what you're going to be focusing on with your guild points. When it comes to building teams for the World Guild Battle, what I tend to focus on early on is looking for ignored defense damage dealers. If you use the search tab function, you can scroll down until you find, where is it? It's somewhere down here. Ignore defense here, right? And you can see a list of units that ignore defense. Some of the ones that I like to build early on, if you pull the Nat 5 versions, they're perfectly fine to use. So something like Cassandra is insane, but you can always use something like Kali. You can even 2A her. She's really good. We've also got Elena, who is the ward of Kali, and she's perfectly fine as well. They both have the same second skill, which is an ignore defense nuke, which is really, really useful for early game World Guild Battle and Siege as well. Kali and Elena focus on single target damage. However, there's another guy down here called Lucian, and this guy is super fantastic for early game World Guild Battle teams. He has an AoE ignore defense, and this guy is going to be helpful for getting you some quick and easy wins early on in the game. Some of the other useful ignore defense damage dealers are this guy here, Bulldozer, as well as his brother in arms, Copper, down here. And you just pair these guys up with a defense buffer, and they can pretty much just nuke any unit in the game, and it's also just another way for beginners to get into World Guild Battle. One of my favorite 2 stars, this guy here, is also very, very easy to build, and he also has ignore defense damage. You can farm him from the light SD, so if you did want to try this guy, feel free to. You are probably not going to use him later on in the game, of course, but he is a great unit to build early on just to start getting some free points. If you do happen to pull a Covenant, he is also another fantastic ignore defense damage dealer. I've already pulled him on this account, so I am going to go ahead and build him. Another insanely useful 4-star that you can get early on is Galleon. After you use his S3, all you have to do is follow it up with some AoE damage dealer, and this should be another easy win for anyone just starting off in the game. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do some team planning. We're going to start looking at our enemies' monsters, and we're going to start building teams so that we can get some easy wins. But essentially what we want to be doing for this team is just pretty much load the board with a defense breaker, something like Roid, a sustain of our own, and a damage dealer. For this case, we'll probably end up just using Naomi, okay? And this team will be easily able to deal with this team over here on the right-hand side. Now, what we're actually also going to do is we're going to start saving our decks into the system. This way, if we ever have to use the team a second time, we can just load the deck easily and it will be ready to go whenever. Having a look at the second team here, I quickly want to talk about elemental attributes and AI. Generally in this game, if you are a wind unit, you're going to focus the water units. If you're a fire unit, you're going to focus the wind units. And if you're a water unit, you're going to focus the fire units. Now, Ciara, this unit here, she puts up a bomb, and this bomb can close to pretty much one-shot anything if she's got enough attack on her. So one way to counterattack this is just making sure that you have a will set on a water unit. Therefore, when Ciara goes to put a bomb on my unit, if they have a will set equipped on that unit, it's not going to do anything, and we pretty much are safe from any damage. Now, obviously, early on, we haven't really been farming a lot of will sets. If you have any intangible runes and another will rune, feel free to put it on the opposing unit just to maybe see if you can bait out the AI for an easy win. One of my favorite teams to build early on is the Fran, Loren, Verd trio. This is going to clear a lot of things, especially if you can just control a single unit and just move from one target to the next. Moving on to the 4th team here, this is one of the most standard bread and butter teams that you'll see in Summoner's War, which consists of Bulldozer, Imesity, and Copper. Pretty much everyone who's ever played this game has probably built a team like this. The last team that we're going to be building for this World Guild Battle is going to be Baleygyr, Qbuff or QB, and then Katarina. Both of these units here are fusion. And you don't really need to skill up the Katarina unless you really need that extra damage. The only real requirement is that you need to have these guys on will, as they're just going to allow the other team to go first, and you're just going to one-shot everything after that. So now, as you can see, we have 5 teams here that we're going to be using for this World Guild Battle. Now we need to go and build every single one of these units. For the support units, you can actually just leave these guys at 5-star level 35. But anything that deals damage or needs to be able to sustain should be taken to 6-star max level. So this is something we're going to go do right now. Then we're going to chuck runes on them, and we'll be back in just a second. We're back now. We've put runes and artifacts on everything. I am going to quickly go through them. So for the first team here, we have Naomi. You don't really need to get any crit rate on her, so we're pretty much focusing on crit damage as well as just some tanky stats. Now, in this team in particular, we don't need the Riley to be on Vio. So what I was actually just looking for was fast runes that had both HP and defense percent on them, and that's all we need. For the Roid as well, this team, he doesn't need to be on Vio, so once again, we're just focusing on tanky stats. For the second team, this is where my Vio runes went, as we are going to need to avoid any kind of bad RNG against this kind of team. So we put the Tyron on Vio broken with a focus on getting at least around 40 to 50 accuracy. Our fastest Swift set right now is on the Yuna and Subsuri, and she is going to give us a pushback as well as a strip, just in case these units are on will, which is what we need to focus on. For setting up for the Tyron, we have Spectra so that he can also get more pushback as well as a slow. And that team hopefully will go well, but that is probably the most iffy team I have right now. There are better ways to approach a team like this. I just wanted to use a team that we can test our speed out to see how it goes. For the third team, the only unit we have on Vio is the Fran, and everything else is just on just whatever. I think the Loren is on a Swift build with a focus on accuracy, and then the Vertihile, we'll quickly bring that back. And the Vertihile is just on the damage set that we had previously. That's slightly tankier. Moving on to the fourth team, we put our next best Swiss set on the Imesity, which is the Wind Horus. He's going to be used to boost the Bulldozer for this team, and we're going to one-shot the Juno. Once the Juno goes down, these 2 units here should be free to just kill the rest of the team. The Bulldozer here is on fully broken will, so he has defense, crit damage, and defense percent. For the Imesity, you do want to try to get tanky stats if you can, but right now he's on speed, HP, and attack, as this is the fastest set we can get. For the Copper, once again, you are focusing on a defense build, so as you can see here, we have him built on defense, crit damage, and defense percent. Keep in mind that this unit does give a crit rate buff on its S3, so you only need 70% crit rate on your Bulldozer and Copper. For the last team here, which has got Baleygyr, Qbuff, and Katarina, once again, we are getting the 30% crit rate buff. I could bump this up to 70, but honestly, I'm too lazy to do it right now. He is focused on a Rage Will build. We have him on attack, crit damage, and attack. For the Qbuff, he needs to just be tanky. He doesn't need skill ups or anything like that. He just needs to be as tanky, so I tried to put as tanky a set as I could get on him, and he has to be on will. So as you can see here, we have the will set here, and this should be perfectly fine. For the last unit here, which is the Katarina, we have her on double fight will. She also got to the 70 crit rate, so she should be perfectly fine for this one as well. The one thing you need to keep in mind for this team is the Katarina should definitely move before the Baleygyr, because what Katarina is going to go in and do is she's going to snipe 1 unit, and this will put the Baleygyr at 5 stacks, and then he can just use his S3 at 5 stacks, which will do the most damage. Okay, we're going to go in. Let's go see how these teams go. So for the first team, you pretty much just want to kill the Reviver first. This is going to make it a little bit easier. You don't really care about any of the wind units anyway, so it should be perfectly fine. Do I want to control this? You know what? We are going to control this one. My bad. This is the only real damage dealer, but yeah, I don't really care about it right now. Okay, so he's dead. Oh my god. Wait, this team is easy. All right, so this was an easy win. Lucky for us. Moving on to the second team. Okay, so we outsped the opponent here, which is perfect. We're still going to probably use this, as I don't know if the Spectra's moving. The one thing that is kind of annoying about this is you don't have any turn order, so there is the potential that this Bastard outspeeds my Spectra. And what will happen is they'll get their boost first, and I could potentially put the immunity on, but I'd rather they don't get the attack buff. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the S3 here. Okay, we landed the decrease attack buff, so now we just do the same thing here. We landed the slow and attack break on everyone. I'm actually going to use the S2 here, as I do prefer pushing the attack bar back. Let's see how it goes. Perfect, right? I'm going to save this for one more turn. We just need to kill the Ciara, and then we should be fine. So now I'm going to use this here, am I? Sure, let's just use it. And we're going to go for the stun. And a nice little proc here. Okay, so once we kill Ciara, we should perfectly be fine on this team as well. And we just got to keep cycling our skills. And now we kill the second damage dealer and we should be fine. Okay, he does get the attack buff though. Hopefully this doesn't cause an issue. It should be fine. There's not a lot of damage here. One of the cool things about the Wind Sapsary that we're using here, I think her name is like Yuna or something like this. She also has a speed lead, so we actually are probably going to use her in RTA as well. She's just actually a pretty good 4-star to use in general. So if you do have her on your account and you are a beginner player, I actually do recommend building her. You will probably use her a lot in the early game. She can fall off a little bit on the later game, but she generally can still be used in 4-star Siege. So definitely not a wasted bit of energy. And there we go. Round 2 done. Moving on to round 3. So for round 3, the only unit you have to be worried about is the Odin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to strip this Odin and we're going to try to control it. We got the strip. Now I can just put up the immunity and we're just putting everything here into this Odin. He is the main focus for all our aggression. So we're just going to keep going into him and that's pretty much it. Once again, just keep hitting him. S2. And once this guy's dead, we just move on to whatever we want to do. I'm going to save my heal for now. As you can see here, we are probably going to want to use our heal here. No, actually, we should just be fine to do whatever we want, in all honesty. Okay, now we're just going to keep going into the Darien. It really doesn't matter which one of these two you kill. We're at the point where we've pretty much won the game, so it's all good here. Okay, moving on to round 4. Once again, we were able to outspeed. Now, the biggest problem on this team is the Juno. The Juno is the only unit that can strip the buffs on my team, and Barbara is a water unit. So keeping my 2 wind units alive here is going to be super beneficial. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to boost the Bulldozer right here, and we're going to S3 the Juno. Hopefully this is kill. It should definitely kill. We do have a decent amount of damage, 40k right there. Perfect. Okay, so now we have 2 choices. We could go for the second damage dealer and put it off. In my opinion, I'm probably just going to go for the Fran. I don't think the Barbara will ever be able to kill either of these 2 units, so we're just going to take care of this unit here. Okay, 56k, nice and easy. And now we just take care of this Barbara, and it's another easy win. So we've got one more. It's looking good for us. Can we win the last one? We'll find out in a second, but we should be okay. Okay, so this is going to go for Qbuff. And now we're just fine. So with this team, what we're going to do is we're going to use the S3 on the Katarina. Okay? Very simple. Now, I'm actually going to go for this unit here as it's probably the easiest unit to kill. Let's see how much damage we actually get off of Katarina's S3. 44k, which is pretty good. And now it's Baleygyr's turn. And as I said before, he now is going to just absolutely wreck through these 2 units most likely. Yeah, as you can see, it's pretty much over. This guy probably won't be able to kill us in time. So we should be fine. And S2 GG. Look at that, guys. We got an easy 5-win battle on our very first attempt. So as you can see here, we easily got our 5 wins. One thing I do want to recommend when choosing your targets is if you do find an opponent with easy defenses, just go and hit it. There's not really any need for you as a beginner player to start hitting teams that have difficult defenses. If you know that your team can take a team down on the opponent's side, just go and hit it and you're just going to get your easy points and then you get all your goodies. Okay, so just do that first. Okay, so now we need to find another team that we can clear. Let's go start looking at some of these other defenses to see if our teams are going to do well. We've found our next opponent. Hopefully this first team should be fine. The only real threat to this first team here is the potential of the Tomoe spreading some kind of debuffs. But I do think with the Riley here and the control from Roid, we should be perfectly fine here. For the second team here, we definitely want to be focusing on the Lucas right here. He's the biggest threat on the opponent's team. Once we take him out, we should be fine to go onto the Juno and then onto the Jemima at the end. The third team is a little scary as there is the potential for this unit to proc and maybe one-shot our Katarina, but she is decently tanky enough that I don't think that's going to be an issue. So I do think this team should be fine here as well. For the fourth team, Yuna's going to be our stripper into the fire team. Now, you might be wondering, okay, take a wind unit into a fire team. It doesn't really matter. Strips are actually not affected by a unit's elemental attribute. So I'm more than welcome to take this unit into this team. And then we're just going to follow it up with the CC chain combo from the Spectra and Tyron once again. For the fifth team here, our Bulldozer is on Will. So what we're probably going to end up doing is boosting the Copper this time and clearing out the Ciara. And then we'll just use our Bulldozer to one-shot this guy here called Danu, as there is no real strip or any way to stop us from getting our combo off. Let's see how we go for this one. I think we can get another 5 from 5, but in all honesty, if the rune quality on this account is higher than ours, then there is potential that we could definitely lose 1 or 2 of these. Let's see how we go. Okay, so looking at this here, I definitely probably want to prioritize putting up the immunity. Okay, that should be perfectly fine. We didn't get stunned here, so what is my biggest threat? In all honesty, I'm probably actually just going to focus on the aerial, as it's the only way we can get cleansed. And I guess we'll just put up the attack buff now. Okay, does she spread? She does spread. Okay. So we're going to get to do this anyway. So we get our heal back up. I think I have to go for the... yeah, I have to go for Fen Yang here. We don't have a choice. We got the ATB pushback, so we're just going to keep hitting this. We almost got the clear too. I guess the downside now... Oh, this is on Vio. Does our Roid move? I don't think it does. Okay. So I have to keep controlling this panda. We don't really have an option anymore. And S1? Ooh, thank God we built a tanky... I think we kill now with attack buff. I'm just going to keep going onto this Fen Yang. Oh no. Okay, now we can't go onto him. Okay, get our attack and immunity back up. I'm just going to S1 here. I think I need to keep going into this guy. We need to keep controlling him. He's so scary. It's going to hit. Okay. Oh my God. Oh no. As I said, guys, we might be in a bit of bother. Okay, let's just go for the aerial then. Okay, we landed that. I'm just going to put up the immunity and the attack buff. Okay. I'm just going to S1 now. Let's see if we can cleanse that defense break. We didn't. Okay. Can we land on this panda? Please? Okay. Don't proc. Okay, I think we're fine now because we can one-shot this panda, Naomi, bam, bam. And now we shouldn't have any issues killing the rest of this team. It got a little bit dicey, but we were able to get the win on this one, so it is perfectly fine. This unit doesn't really do enough damage to ever really kill our team, so we pretty much just need to chip away at it, and we'll be back in just a second. Moving on to this team here, we need to focus on the Lucas first. So what we're going to do is we've already pushed it back with the Loren, and now we're going to make sure we get immunity buff. Yes, the Juno can strip it, but I don't think it's going to be an issue. We just need to try to focus on this as much as we can right now. So let's see how this goes. Okay, that's the double stun was an issue, but Verd did a lot of damage, so we're fine. We are perfectly fine. Now I think it's actually going to be an easy clear as there's not really any big damage dealers left. So let's just order the rest of this. We want to focus on the Anavel as we're most likely not going to crit with a Baleygyr on a water unit. So I am going to target this with my S3. Let's see how it goes. So first hit does 46, 48, 7k. So as long as we kill the Carcano over here, it should just be fine. And we did. There's no way the Riley can kill anything. She's just a support unit. So another easy dub. Okay, so we really need to strip this Baleygyr. Missing the Baleygyr here could cost us the game. But let's see how it goes. Okay, so we landed the strip now. We just need to S3 with Spectra. This unit, I don't think we care too much about now that it has the attack break. I am just going to S2. That's perfectly fine. And now we're just going to S2 with Yuna. The unit we need to focus the most is probably going to be Geralt, actually, as he has an AoE skill. Oh, we missed. Okay. That might be an issue. We'll see how it goes. Okay, that is an issue. I think we finally reached our... Oh, actually, maybe we'll be able to figure out a way around this one. Okay. No, we lost Yuna. Okay. I do think that Tyron can win this. So we'll see how it goes. But it could be a little bit harder for us here. Okay. That's pretty good too. I don't have to do anything just yet. Oh man, actually, I don't think Tyron moves, does she? Okay, so we're gonna go for the freeze now. We landed on both. And I think we're actually fine now. Yep, we should be good here. Wow, this one was close. This one was scary. I'm actually gonna put this here because I need to start dealing damage over here. Oh, okay, we're gonna lose our Spectra now. But I think it's fine. I feel like we should win this one. You know? Is Tyron better than Garo? We're about to find out, aren't we? We're good, right? We are good. GG! Okay, Tyron. Okay, last round, guys. So once again, the plan now is to boost the Copper. We one-shot the Ciara. And then Bulldozer, when he eventually does get a turn, he's going to take out the Danu. And then it's just pretty much a battle of cycling to see when we can kill the last unit, which is the Wusa over here on the left. So easy 66k. Easy. Wow, that was a lot more damage than I thought I was going to do. All right, let's see how Dozer goes into this guy. Oh, that's decent damage. All right, Dozer, can you one-shot? Yes, you can. 32k, not terrible. So now we just need to cycle again with the copper. Once copper gets his S3 up again, the Wusa will also go down. Easy win. As you can see here, we cycled back to our copper's S3. We'll take down the Wusa and we'll get another 5 out of 5 clear. And now we can start collecting our EXP rewards from the bar up here. So it's just another way to get more freebies in the game. Last thing we're going to talk about for the World Guild battles here is for your defenses, feel free to just do a single man defense. You're also more than welcome to use your offenses as your defenses for now. I wouldn't really focus on building anything here. It's just not super important. The most important thing for you right now is to win your offenses. As you can see here, we got our 10 wins from this World Guild battle. This is going to go a long way into getting our freebies from the EXP reward system in the center here, as well as just getting us more points so we can start buying more Ifrit pieces, more guild summons, Rainbowmon, and anything else that you can find down in the shop that you want, right? As we keep getting stronger on the game, we're going to keep updating the teams that we're going to use in the World Guild battle. In all honesty, the teams we're using right now are actually pretty good for a beginner account. So we're probably going to be able to get away with using these teams all the way up until maybe Punisher 2 or Punisher 3 level. But obviously, the higher that you do get in the game, you are going to have to adapt your strategies to make sure that you can beat the opposing teams. If you like this video, make sure that you never come and watch any of my videos ever again, because you're not going to like the next one too. It just doesn't work that way. See you next time, guys. Peace out.